Alright, today on the bench we have a PEARCE SIMPSON Cougar 23B. 23 channel mobile. This was given to my son last night by one of our neighbors. He's old school equipment operator, log truck driver, and generally just a real cool guy. So thanks, Roger. But it's not in very good shape. I have tested it. It does key up. It puts out somewhere right around a watt. It does have receive. Not very good. Obviously, physically, she's a bit tattered. KDP 2657. The microphonium, well, dude, at least there's not like coffee grinds and spit in there, so I've seen a lot worse. But, yeah, this thing comes with spiders and everything. Not in the best of shape. But I think we're gonna play around with this thing. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, but it's a 23 channel AM mobile. I don't want to get too involved in it, so anyway, we'll see what we can do with it. Let's see, got those on all right. It does light up. Game plan for this is we're going to get it running, get it up to spec. I don't think I'm going to have to do much to it. And then clean it up. And we'll see what happens. We're going to put some white LED action in there and in there. I mean, I do like this little amber glow and everything. That is old school. But if we're going to actually use this in a mobile, and I probably won't, I do prefer the white LEDs. Alright, let's see what we can do with this thing. So, I don't have much time, and it's going to take me a few days to get this thing accomplished, just kind of working on it a little bit here and there. But let's see what we can do. Alright, PEARCE SIMPSON. We're on it. Okay, so I checked all modes and functions on the radio, and everything seemed like it was going to work properly, so I decided to go ahead and clean it up. And we got the 30-year-old piece of duct tape off the top there without too much damage. This actually was already here, so there you go. Anyway, but it cleaned up pretty nice. In pretty bad shape, as you could see from the beginning of this video. So, let's see. So it's about 90% finished. And what I mean by that is when I originally did the checking of all modes and functions on this radio, I had it on channel 20. I figured mid-band. Let's check transmit and receive. Everything seemed to be pretty good. So I'm like, alright, well, we'll take the time to clean this off. So I disassembled all this and did my magic to it, and I think it came out pretty good. Alright, so quite a few things on this. So the internal speaker did not work. That was the dreaded external speaker jack syndrome. So I cleaned up that connection on the inside of the external speaker jack, and now it makes connection and the internal speaker works very well. This radio has a really nice receiver for a radio of this period. It's what, 44 years old. So that's pretty good. This is circa 1975. This is a Uniden chassis. Somewhat similar to a Cobra 29, the original Cobra 29. I'm not, I've never really been a PEARCE SIMPSON collector. I just haven't come across too many PEARCE SIMPSON rigs, and when I do, they're lower end AM rigs. And like I say, I usually don't collect AM rigs, especially AM mobiles. These are like $10 radios, so there's just really, other than they look cool, I just don't have much experience with these. So this is kind of like my, the rig I'm cutting my teeth on, you could say. So anyway, it's very full-featured, just like a Cobra 29. This was top in their in the lineup for 1975. This radio retailed for $229. That was some serious Skrilla back in 75. And this, what I assume, is the top of the line in the mobile AM lineup. Okay, so features: volume squelch, mic gain, SWR calibrate, tone control for the receive, RF gain control, and the receivo slide / delta tune. 23 channels, CBPA, noise blanker on off, calibrate, and SWR. So we've already gone over these before. I don't know why I'm doing this now, but I just wanted to go over this. Okay, I was originally thinking that I was going to change the meter lights out, and I decided not to. I really like this look, and I just didn't feel that it would look proper, you know. So it cleaned up very nice. I do have some fingerprints on it now after cleaning it up, but it came out really nice. I'm pretty happy with it. These switches were buggered up pretty bad. In fact, it was the calibrate SWR switch that, I mean, it took a pry bar to get this thing to function. And now everything functions very nice and smooth. But the radio still has an issue. So before I get into that, usually I'll check all modes and functions. If I think it's going to be a decent candidate, then I'll spend the time to clean it up, because, you know, I took a whole night on this to do this. And inside and out, thorough, front to rear, top to bottom. And then I decide, well, is it worth it? And am I going to throw $10, $12, $15 worth of capacitors in it? And that's kind of the next step, because a lot of these radios you want to throw caps in. So I was thinking, okay, I'm going to throw caps in it. But here's the deal. I started going around checking all modes and functions again after it's all, you know, while I'm actually in the restoration process. And I had some serious issues with some of the channel positions here. A few of these positions wouldn't even work. Like I say, I checked it out originally on channel 20, mid-band. But channels 1 through, I think it was 12, would not function properly. Then I got it down to channels 1 through 8 that would not function properly, and now I've got it down to channels 1 through 4. They are 10 kcs off, so meaning that channel 1 is 1 below 1, 26,955. Channel 2 is channel 1, 26,965, and so on. And then 5, 6, 7, and 8 are somewhat sketchy. So I went in and cleaned up the rotary control switch there as best as I could, and the receivo slide, and you know, just kept working on that, and I've got it now so the radio mostly works, but I'm down to like one mixer crystal. I'm not really sure if it's good. I really have no way to check it, so I'm gonna have to go through my storage shed out there and see if I can yard some crystals out of another 23 channel rig. These are 37 megahertz crystals. And anyway, and then once I get that issue fixed, then I'll go back and do caps. I like this radio. It's a pretty decent sounding rig. I'm getting good on-air reports with it, and I love the receiver in it. It has a nice receive. I live out here in the country, so I rarely need noise blanker, but I like the way that Pierce Simpson or Uniden did this tone control. So, like, for instance, I generally don't need a noise blanker, but if you would like, you can turn that on. And of course, it sounds really nice and mellow, and then you can take the tone control and bring it up, and it actually gets really, really tinny up here. Not tinny, but it's a lot of high frequency mush comes through. So on the bass, I prefer to run the tone at its bassiest or its deepest tone with no noise blanker. And then in the mobile, this is why I think this would make a great mobile. You can turn the noise blanker on to filter out whatever noise you have in your vehicle, and then bring the tone up so people like me that are hard of hearing can hear who you're talking to. And I think this would make a great radio for that. If you wanted an old retro mobile and to be able to actually use it, I think this would be great. So anyway, yeah, there you go. So for now, I'm going to button this thing up and call this good. I've made my little notes that I need to make on there, and I will double stick them to the bottom of the radio, and I will keep my eye out for those crystals. And if I can get this situation taken care of, and I have access to another one of these because this was one of 15, I am going to futz around with it, and I think this is worth the time. This is literally like a $10 to $20 mobile, and it was quite hammered physically, or cosmetically, I should say. But yeah, and I think we'll do caps in it. So let's do some power measurements here. We're on the dummy load. We're gonna go over here and get some bird Wattses. This unit dead key's just a hair over 2 watts. There's 23. Here's one below 1. So it's about the same. And I will turn it into feel-good mode here, and we'll do a PEP reading. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So 5 6 watts PEP. I have a feeling that is going to change when we do caps. In fact, I think that's going to even make this receiver even nicer. This, like I say, this was a top dog AM mobile back in the day. So anyway, stay tuned. I'll do a part 2 sometime down the road. It may be a week or 2. It may be a couple months, so I'm not really sure. But anyway, the Cougar 23B by Pierce Simpson, which is in reality a unit and chassis. PC008, if I remember right. PC008AB. Anyway, you Pierce Simpson guys, school me.
Snowman, how are your vocal cords?
Well, my vocal cords are fine. I'm a little worried about Fred now. He's been gnawing everything in the cab of this truck, barking and screaming. I think he's turned into a stalk of bananas.